we get conversations that lead to something that's transformational in this new agreement. But y'all have taken shots at Kathy at every turn you get. Bell notification and hype the video. Let's get right into things. The clown show continues. Our thoughtful and reasonable proposals. You guys have asked for more than double of everything that they're talking about. 30% is league, 30%.
The drama surrounding the WNBA did not explode in one loud headline. It collapsed slowly, like a building with cracks no one wanted to fix, until one day the owners simply walked away and left the players staring at a locked door. The moment the players sent that final message and saw it marked as seen with no reply, everything changed. That was not negotiation anymore. That was power shifting in real time. Silence became the loudest statement in the room, and it told the players something they were not ready to accept. The owners were done talking. Not pausing, not stalling. Done. For months, the union pushed harder and louder, believing public pressure would bend ownership. They used social media, interviews, emotional language, and carefully framed narratives about fairness and transformation. But behind closed doors, the tone felt very different to the people actually signing the checks. Owners felt disrespected, dismissed, and boxed into corners by demands that ignored financial reality.
The WNBA owners have had enough. Quite frankly, it's that simple. They've had enough of the back and forth. They did not even want to do Nafis Color just took shots at Kathy 2 days ago. So, you know, I don't get how you're not taking revenue. Not happening. $10.5 million cap. Not happening. So, whatever. Agul McKay said fees.
When people who control the league stop answering, it is not strategy. It is preparation. It is them deciding what comes next without you. The most dangerous part is how slowly the union realized what was happening. While ownership had already gone quiet, some union leaders kept speaking as if talks were still alive, as if progress was still possible. That illusion made players feel safe. It made them think the ground under their feet was solid, but it was already disappearing. By the time panic set in and the tone suddenly changed to good faith and compromise, it was too late. From the owner's perspective, that shift did not look sincere.
Extension up to January 9th, and they stopped responding to these players more than 2 weeks ago. And Brianna Stewart made it seem like the conversation taking shots. I want to get to this part, the Caitlin Clark part, man, because it's right. I'm proud of how professional and patient we've been. What do you mean professional? Y'all was taking shots at the WNBA.
It looked like damage control. What made it worse was the growing sense that the union was not just fighting the league, but also serving other interests. With side projects, alternative leagues, and personal ventures tied to union leadership, trust became fragile. Negotiation only works when both sides believe the other is acting for the table they are sitting at. Once ownership believed union leaders were also building exits elsewhere, every demand felt less like advocacy and more like pressure tactics. The numbers became the wall no emotion could climb. The union's proposals would require massive revenue sharing and a salary structure the league says would bury it in debt. Ownership did not argue philosophy.
They are, at this point, they are playing victim. And I just got to be completely honest with you. That's what's happening right now, man. It's so much the owners on Instagram. That wasn't professional. What are you talking about? Y'all have been trying to win people over in public perception throughout the entire negotiation. Do not feel that the players have been negotiating in good faith. Let's get into this article right here on ESPN. WNBA CBA Q&A.
They argue math. They said the league cannot promise what it does not have. And no amount of social media support changes spreadsheets. When one side speaks in feelings and the other speaks in losses, the side with the losses always wins. Then came a moment that made everything even more painful. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name the league has seen in years, quietly said what many were afraid to say out loud. Both sides need to give. Progress means compromise. Growth does not mean ignoring limits. It was not an attack. It was not betrayal. It was common sense. And yet, union leadership brushed past it like it never happened. They spoke around it, not to it. They talked about flexibility while keeping their biggest demands untouched. They said they were willing to bend without ever actually bending. That told ownership everything they needed to know. If the public face of compromise did not include real change, then silence became the answer. The owners stopped arguing. They stopped explaining. They stopped engaging. And in doing so, they reminded everyone who actually controls whether the season exists. Now the league sits in a dangerous gray space. The agreement has expired. Negotiations are frozen. Legally, games could still happen. Practically, ownership now has leverage the union never expected. They can delay. They can pause. They can reset. And every day that passes without games, players feel the pressure more than owners do. The saddest part is that many players were never trying to burn anything down. They wanted better pay, better conditions, better futures. Those are fair goals, but they trusted leadership to get them there. Now, they're watching that leadership scramble, trying to explain why silence is not a disaster when it clearly is. They're being told to stay united while the ground keeps shifting under their feet. And through all of this, Caitlin Clark stands in a strange position. She is the face of the league's growth. She is the proof that the WNBA can draw massive attention. She is the evidence ownership uses when they say the league is moving forward, not backward. Yet her call for balance was ignored. Her voice, the one bringing in fans and money, was brushed aside because it did not fit the narrative of total resistance. That is what makes this moment so dangerous. The league is not collapsing because of lack of interest. It is collapsing because of internal warfare, because compromise became a dirty word, because leadership believed pressure alone could replace partnership, because feelings were treated as currency instead of facts. Now ownership is showing what happens when patience runs out. They are not shouting. They are not insulting. They are not tweeting. They are simply not responding. And in business, silence is not weakness. It is power. The union must now face a reality it helped create. Public sympathy cannot fund a league. Viral posts cannot pay salaries. Emotional speeches cannot fix financial gaps. At some point, someone has to say yes to something they do not fully like. That is what negotiation is. And until that happens, the league floats in uncertainty, with players, fans, and futures hanging in the balance. The most painful irony is that this moment came when the league finally had momentum. Crowds were growing. Interest was rising. New fans were arriving. Instead of building on that, the league is now frozen, watching leaders argue while opportunity slips away. History will remember this moment not for who shouted the loudest, but for who refused to bend. And right now, everyone is paying the price for pride. The question is not who is right. The question is who is willing to save what still exists before it's too late. Do you think the union went too far? Do you think the owners should come back to the table? Or do you think this was always going to end like this? Drop your thoughts below. Share this with anyone who follows the WNBA. And if you want more deep, dramatic breakdowns like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is far from over and the next move could change everything.